Hey.
What's going on, everyone? Hey. Welcome to this video. Today I'm joined by the lovely and fascinating story from Matt Webley. So welcome, Matt.
Hello, Hayden. Thanks for inviting me.
How you doing? I like the old scenery in the background. We've got the big the windows open at the back.
Yeah, it's just like doors. Yeah, it's just the back garden, I guess.
Nice.
With some purple plants we don't even like. But never mind.
Yeah, it's got some really high trees there.
Yeah, they're not high. They're quite low, but it's just raised up.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. So we're going to dive straight into this, but I don't want to introduce Matt. I want to just give Matt 5 minutes just to say sort of who you are and what you do. So basically, when you go out for a night out and you meet a couple, for example, and let's just say they said, "What do you do for a living?" What would you say to them?
If I'm meeting a normal random couple that asks me something like that, say as little as possible. Not because I'm dodgy. Just because in my experience, normal everyday people don't really want to know what we do. And I mean that as I class myself as an entrepreneur or businessman, if you like. So that's what I am. And then I don't know, the more you go down that rabbit hole with normal people, the more they turned off they seem to be. But there's a saying, birds of a feather flock together. So if I was with entrepreneurial, business-minded people, then I would share very transparently and openly. You've heard me. I share too much. I'm very transparent. But your everyday people, I would avoid that question. But for somebody that was entrepreneurial-minded, I would say, long story short, start off council estate kid, no money, unemployed parents, no mentors, no financial guidance, lived on a council estate, which was a bit rough. Not the roughest. It weren't like everyone was getting stabbed every day, but it weren't nice either. I enjoyed it, but yeah, it put fire in my belly to get rich because none of my family really had achieved anything in the way of business or making money or anything like that. So fast forward a few years, started back in about 2000 or 1999, maybe, I don't know, 2000, 2001-ish time. Started with affiliate marketing. So I made my first sale by promoting affiliate link, and then kind of learned SEO. So building websites, getting them ranked in Google. And then I started in the information product game. So started building courses and ebooks and stuff. And this is 20 years ago. So long time ago. And then I got affiliates for that. And then I've done pretty much everything since. So I've built up a small property portfolio. I owned a nightclub at one point, which I bought with my internet earned money, which was nice. And yeah, I've done a bit of Amazon stuff, a bit of software stuff, we've done live events. We've done, you name it, when it comes to online marketing and making money online, we have done it.
Wow. So you've gone through like two of my next questions. So I'm just going to go back a tiny little bit just to get more detail. Cool. So you didn't have money when you were growing up as a child?
None whatsoever. I remember, advent calendars. I don't know if you've got a US audience, but I don't know if they call them advent calendars, but the calendar you put on the wall with chocolates in it. Yeah. I remember me and my brother used to share one of them. And I know that's like boo-hoo, you didn't have your own advent calendar, but for a kid to share the chocolates, and my brother was older than me, so he always used to scam me and make sure the bigger chocolate, which was usually like 24 or 25, he used to get it because I wasn't smart enough to figure out which one I needed to be the end one. So, and I remember like one Christmas, my main Christmas present was a board game. And it was shared with my brother. It was what he really wanted, and I got it. And I'd have got like chocolate, like them chocolate coins and a couple other bits and bobs, pound shop stuff, but nothing major. And I know that sounds like I'm boo-hooing over not having many presents, but I wasn't. I'm just trying to paint a picture of kind of we had nothing. I got used to hearing no. I just stopped asking. So when you're in a shop, you know what kids are like sometimes. Oh, can I have a chocolate bar? No, can't afford it. Can I have this? No, can't afford it. Can we go here? No, can't afford the petrol. Can I have this to eat? No, we can't afford to put the oven on. So you're having fried food, that kind of thing. That was my kind of upbringing. So I got a lot of those. I call it teased, but it's bullied really. But I got bullied a little bit during school for having no money. So I remember we'd never been abroad anywhere on holiday. which is, I suppose, a bit unusual these days for people to. Less unusual those days, but like I got teased for never having gone abroad, and wearing crappy clothes, like hand-me-down clothes that were too long, like dangled below my knees. My school blazer, it was, my mum bought it me that big, so it would fit me the whole time I was in school. It went below my knees when I started school, and by the time I finished school, it was the perfect fit. So, but it was so she could get me into one blazer and not have to buy another one another year or whatever. Yeah. So blazer forever.
Do you think that's what sort of lit the fire inside you to actually go out and make money? Did you have to become super dependent at a young age?
I considered myself, I'm not sure my family would have considered me this, but I consider myself to be the black sheep of the family. So they were all one way and I was another way. So I was just as broke as them, but I saw the world a different way. I didn't see it as like a, I always got told the rich stay rich, the poor stay poor, and know your place, and you know, stay in your lane and all that stuff. And I used to think, what's that? That's a load of garbage. But all my inspiration and friends and stuff were just of the mindset of, look, you're poor, you'll always be poor. The best you can hope for is a crappy job, you know, a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life. But I don't know if it was nature or nurture that put the fire in my belly, but it was definitely one of them. Because when I was like, my mum said, before I could really talk, or when I just started talking, she said, "Oh, what do you want to be when you're older, Matt?" And I pointed to this picture of a load of money on the front of this book. And she thought at the time I wanted to be a bank manager, because I think it was about, I can't remember what it was, but there was money on the front of this book, like banks or something. I don't know. And I remember, she said that I'm trying to remember the story now, and I've probably told it before, so people will be like, you changed that story. No, it's just a bloody long time ago. But I think she said something like, I said I wanted all the money in the bank, not to be a bank manager. And at that point, I wouldn't have been aware of being poor. So early single digits, I wouldn't have been aware of being poor then. But so that there's an argument for it. I was born like it, but I would say more it's through the getting crap from other kids, because I was a council estate kid and I went to my first school. I got crap at that from other kids, which is crazy about being poor. But when I went to the middle school, which was a lot better school, it was in a more affluent neighborhood. So as I was a council estate kid going to an affluent neighborhood school where the kids were a bit more affluent. So I don't know if it's the constant awareness that we had nothing, could have nothing, could go nowhere. Did something just bang then? I think the cat just ran into the door. If you wondered, if you heard that noise, picked up that noise. Okay, I think the cat it scared me. The cat just ran into the door. Yeah, I don't know if it was that social awareness that I had nothing, or if it was just the straight bullying. And I'm making out that like I was getting beat up. No, it weren't like that. Just the odd comment here and there kind of thing. It's just that niggly thing over time. But I don't know if it was nature or nurture, but it was one of them. And I put a fire in my stomach to change my life and change my family's lives, so they didn't have to feel the way that I felt.
Wow. Do you remember when you first discovered entrepreneurship, and how was that? What was the first thing that you discovered? Were you selling sweets in school, or was it?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. So I always had these weird, crazy little ideas of how to make money, and they were, because I didn't come from I didn't realize how easy it was to start a business back then. I didn't realize it's like the easiest thing ever. You're like, you just, back when I started business, you could just go, I'm in business. That's it. You're in business. You don't have to do anything else. Now, all you've got to do is tell the taxman within 30 days or 90 days or whatever it is. You just got to say to the taxman, I've started a business. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. But back then, I thought you had to do stuff. So I was of the make money no matter what mindset. And it transitioned over time into obviously give value first, and then obviously you'll get value back mindset. So now I transitioned from, I don't want to say a scammy attitude, but a bit more of a scammy attitude. I do whatever it takes to make money when I was a teenager, to into more, you've got to provide value and great customer support and a great product and all that stuff, and people will keep coming back. So I remember one of my first, it weren't a scam, but one of my first things was getting my mates, mum and dad's petals off their flowers. Literally ripped all the flower heads off, dried them out in my airing cupboard, and then sprinkled a bit of my mum's perfume into them. And I was like, wow, this is potpourri. I got a bag of potpourri, not realizing that potpourri has almost zero value to anyone, especially these days where you could probably go to the pound shop and get a massive bag or something. But yeah, that was one thing. I remember I was on about selling Elvis's toenails, which is ridiculous and stupid, but I was going to trim my own toenails, chuck them in like a box and say they're Elvis's. And it's like,
oh, wow.
That kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah. But it's like that's such creative thinking, isn't it? Like whether it's, you know, whatever, you know, good or bad, it's creative thinking. I'm fascinated where that came from.
Well, some of the first few businesses I started, I guess, and I only tinkered at them, I won't even call them businesses, is like I did Clean Easy. So I don't know if you remember Clean Easy. It's not really a thing these days so much, but there were catalogs. You posted catalogs to people's doors, and then the people would maybe make an order, fill an order form out, and then you'd come and deliver the products and all that stuff. It was basically really hard to make any real money at it because it was slanted so heavily in the favor of everybody other than the people doing the frontline work. But that was one thing I did. I did a few little MLM bits, like I signed up as a Telecom Plus distributor, but then when I found out that you couldn't get signal where I was, and I was looking to push the mobile side of it because it was a good deal back then, I cancelled that. And I'd done all kinds of bits and bobs like that. We had like a party plan business that did okay. And okay back then, not okay now. Now it's embarrassingly low, but we're talking a few £100 kind of thing, maybe a grand or two over the course of it. But I had ladies that would go do parties with lingerie, like Ann Summers, and then I would make an order from the wholesaler when they got the orders. And I did a bit of that. So I've done all kinds of little bits and bobs of tiny little businesses playing at it before I found the internet.
Do you remember that moment you proved to yourself that it was sort of possible? Because like for me, it happened to me very recently, if I'm honest, because I've sort of, you know, been grinding away for a few years. And it was only in the last sort of 6 months that I got my first paycheck that was like, wow, like, you know, this is decent and this is, you know, but do you remember that moment when you got that and it was like, wow, like I'm actually doing quite well now, you know? Do you remember that?
Yeah. What was that? I remember it was, I don't know, it was, I guess, early 2000s. It must have been around 2000. I'll say 2000. I don't know if it was 1999 or 2001, but let's say 2000-ish. I remember I was working behind a bar in a nightclub, earning £50 a week for a weekend's work. And it was good pay at the time. It's £5 an hour, which was way above what everybody else paid at the time because the minimum wage weren't like £8 or £9 or whatever it is now. So I was earning £5 an hour, and I earned about £25 to £50 a weekend. And whilst I was doing that, I'd set up a website and made my first affiliate sales. And I remember waking up and I made $30 during the night as an affiliate. And that was a transformation moment because $30 at the time, I can't remember what the exchange rates were, but let's say it was like 25 quid. I went to sleep and I woke up and I'd made a whole night shift by going to sleep. Yeah. And it didn't end there. It was like the next night I went to sleep and I made another and then another and then another. And it's like, and then I continued to kind of build that income up, and it ended up being $200 a day, $300 a day, $500 a day, that kind of thing. And it just went crazy. So then I thought, well, if I can make money selling other people's products, well, I'll make my own products. You know, I went into the ebook space and the information product space. And then before you know it, I had affiliates that were sending me sales. So just like I was sending them sales, and I can't remember how long I did that for, maybe a year or two, whereby my primary focus, maybe even 3, I can't remember, but my primary focus was being an affiliate. So sending traffic to a merchant who would then pay me a commission. I spent a while doing that, and then I thought, well, if I become the merchant, then I can have affiliates promote me. So I created information products similar, and then I started diverting the traffic instead of to the affiliate offer. I started diverting it to my own products. So then I was generating my own traffic from my own products, and then I started recruiting affiliates. and then it kind of, it expanded. And then I did a bit of eBay, I did a bit of Amazon, I did a bit of Shopify. I've done like I say, open a nightclub, hot fire business. We did that. We've done all kinds of bits and bobs since. But that was the moment. It was when I went to sleep and I made $30 commission during the night. It was like, oh my God, I did nothing for this. And then never looked back, kind of thing. Bumpy road since, but never looked back really.
Yeah. And sort of talking on that bumpy road, so what sort of struggles did you face around that sort of time? Because it sounds like, oh, that was really, really easy and it just straight cruising to the top. What sort of struggles did you face within that journey?
I mean, one thing about business is that there is no easy sailing in business. There is always struggles. If you get a week whereby there was no struggles, either you weren't pushing hard enough, or you weren't getting the traction you thought you was, or something. I think at the mowers, I think someone's just decided to mow the lawn. Thanks for that.
I can't. It's fine.
Okay. It's not our lawn. It's probably a neighbour.
I think just to quickly intervene there, I think you actually helped me a lot with this. A post you did some time ago. You probably don't even know. We had a call straight after, and it was when, obviously, for those of you who don't know, me and Matt are friends. I like to consider ourselves friends, and we sort of work closely with each other. And Amazon wasn't going too well. It was sort of in and out. And I remember you doing a post in your group, Secret Wealth Project, and you just said, business is like the ocean, it's in and it's out, it's in and it's out, and it's never one. And that sort of blew my mind. Yeah. So I'm interested.
100%. But there is struggles all the time. So one of the struggles I've struggled with over the past 20 years is being a man. I mean, you're a lot younger than me, but you're in your 20s. Like being in your 20s and working from home and the isolation of an internet business. You don't go to the office. You don't go see your workmates. Arguably, like interactions like this are the closest you get to that without legacy friends from before or whatever. Because it's not, when you work from home on your own on the internet, I think it can be quite isolating. Now, a lot of people that have been in the rat race for 20, 30 years, it's the dream to them because they're like, I can stay at home, I can see my family. It's the dream. But in your 20s, like you are, I don't know if you struggle with it or not, but I did. I struggled with it. Like, that's why I went to the nightclub game, because it was the total opposite of what I was doing. So I built a significant 6-figure a year business in my pants from home on my own. And then I took a few of those 6 figures and bought a nightclub and did the opposite. And that was just my outlet of trying to get into the real world again. So that's one of the biggest struggles. I think I didn't struggle with it so much, but I have staying motivated over the long term. That's another struggle.
That's a really interesting topic. Yeah. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on that. Because I have days where I'm just like, because sometimes things get so mundane, don't they, sort of thing, because that, and obviously this is another lesson I'm sure you've learned, but anything worth having just takes so long to get. But sometimes that you're going to wake up for the next 6 months and nothing amazing is really going to happen. So, but you've still got to motivate yourself to get out of bed and do that tiny task that's going to add up into that big achievement. And how do you sort of deal with that? Yeah, that's really interesting.
I think the key at the earlier stages of business is getting some momentum. So I always get excited when somebody posts their first sale because it's like they were in the mindset of, I'm an employee, I can only exchange time for money and all that stuff. And the moment they made the first sale and in their own business, it changes the game, because I always say, if you can make one sale, you can make 5 sales. And if you can make 5 sales, you can make 5,000 sales. So ultimately, it's about proving the concept to yourself. Can I make any money at this? And you might say, a lot of people go, they might sell a course on Udemy, or they might sell the first product on Amazon or something like that. And they're like, I only made a $5. You made a $5.
2 months ago, all you wanted to do was make one sale. Yeah.
You made a $5, which means you can make 2 $5s and 10 $5s and 1,000 $5s. So I think the key is to try and get some early small wins and get a little bit of momentum and realize that it is a massive boulder. I use this analogy a lot when I'm kind of training people or whatever. and I'm not here to sell no coaching. I have no coaching available right now or anything like that. There's no courses available. There's no coaching available. So that weren't why I said that. But I've coached people in the past. One of the analogies I use is a boulder rolling. So imagine a huge boulder. This boulder is not the size of your car. This boulder is the size of your house. And it's sat there. And you try and push it. And yeah, it might only be made of wood or something. I don't know. But you try and push it, it don't go anywhere. And that can be the early stages of business. Now, most people give it a little push and they go, this is too hard. I'm going to go back to work and start selling my time for money. But the key is you come back the next day and give it another push. And you come back the next day, give it another push. Over time, you'll build up your strength, or maybe you'll get your technique a little better, or maybe the wind will be behind you, whatever. But you'll get a few millimeters of movement out of that big boulder, and it'll move a little bit. And now, some people go, oh, it only moved a millimeter. I don't. I go, you couldn't move it before, and you moved it a millimeter. So if you keep pushing, keep practicing, keep driving it forward, keep giving it your all every day, keep turning up and doing your best. What's to say that you can't move it 10 millimeters one day or 30 millimeters? And then over time, and the beauty of business is, once you've done that for long enough, you get some momentum behind you. So it's not like you're having to push this big boulder every day and it's only moving a millimeter. Eventually it moves on its own. And I think that's the key. We've got somebody coming to the door now. Sorry, Hayden. I know you're right to leave it, mate. Yeah, okay. Yes, it's all right.
Yeah. I get that. It's like micro discipline as well, isn't it? And it's like that's not only moving the momentum of that specific business, but in my opinion, that's helped me move the discipline forwards and so not the discipline, sorry, the self-belief. Like every little notch is more self-belief of what's possible.
Yeah, and it's all a mindset game. And I know normal everyday people that aren't entrepreneurial minded think that self-development and mindset, when these big rich entrepreneurs where they've made it and it's all right for them, when they start talking about mindset, I think a lot of normal people get turned off by it and like, oh, here we go, woo-woo stuff. But they don't realize you can't get the success without the mindset. The mindset is so important. And if you ever feel yourself veering off course, or if your mindset's not right, or you don't think you can do it or anything, just get into the self-development space. Jim Rohn. Find your person, Jim Rohn. I love Jim Rohn. He's my guy. Yeah, Les Brown. Some people are turned on by Tony Robbins. I ain't a big fan. I acknowledge he's great at what he does. I'm not bashing him, but like he doesn't speak to me. But like Jim Rohn does. But it's like I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have anybody that had done well in business to guide me. Like I was starting from scratch. And you didn't have the advantages you've got now, like YouTube, whereby you can find a mentor without ever knowing them, and follow what people are doing, or even meet them potentially online. But I had books, so I would buy books like Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, essential book. Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, just to get your mind right about assets and things like that. And there's a whole bunch of books. But I would start there. If you're struggling to get into it, struggling to get rolling, spend some time in the self-development game, whether it's audio books, reading books, watching YouTube videos, whatever. But I think, that's powerful stuff. I can't even remember what the question was now, mate. Sorry. I keep going off on tangents.
No, it's cool. To sort of, control it. So I try and sort of stir it towards, But no, so when I asked you a question the other day, which you answered in a YouTube video, I said, what would you do if you were starting again in your early 20s and you didn't have anything? Now, I don't mean like extreme living on the streets, but, if you were sort of like in a job, 9 to 5 sort of thing, earning 1,200 quid a month, but you knew, how about what you know now? Yeah. You've got to start again and click the reset and you're 22 years old or something. What would you do again? I'm going to ask the question because you said in that video it may change in another day. So what would you do if you had to start again, knowing what you know now?
And I've got no money.
No money, but you know contacts, but you know what you know now. You know what's possible.
I would probably start putting content out on social media in a certain niche. So whether that's YouTube or TikTok or LinkedIn or I don't know, whatever, write a blog even. And I know that's not social media, but, try and get it ranked in Google. But I would choose a niche I was interested in. I would start creating valuable content on it, giving everything I knew away about it. And I think over time, you'd get so much traction from people just being blown away by the level of content that you're giving away for free. I would just stay consistent. And then I would probably offer coaching in that space very passively, no big launch, just offer coaching. And then I'll probably transition that into some kind of hybrid coaching course thing or group coaching. Because then what I've just said there, basically you've started with nothing. You've utilized the tools that are out there. You've gone found an audience by giving first. So the law of reciprocity is activated because you gave and then they give you back by time, attention, adoration, whatever, influence. You know, they put a halo on your head, as I say it. They give you the ability to influence them. And then you can become coach, course creator, affiliate marketer, and then I would scale up from there. So all of those things don't take any money to go into. Coaching, courses, and affiliate marketing are all free to get into. Social media is free. You don't even need a domain or a website. So it's just time. And I think in the early days, you just need to not exchange time for money with your boss. You need to exchange time with money for your business. You know, build your business with blood, sweat, and tears equity rather than cash. And then over time, when you've got cash and you can build a team, then you can go, okay, right, now I'm interested in maybe doing something a little bit more. You know, I'll start selling on Amazon because you've got a few grand in the bank. I'll start selling on Amazon, or I'll start selling on eBay, or I'll build some software, or I'll do something else that maybe requires some capital and keep rolling it up, invest early, keep reinvesting. Big mistake I made is took way too long to start investing. You should be investing. You should be investing right now. Any excess cash, invest.
You mean reinvest in businesses as well?
I mean that if you're in a business that requires stock or working capital, reinvest it into that stock and working capital. So so if you're selling on Amazon, for example, I'm not saying go buy a house with your excess cash. No, chuck it back into Amazon business. It makes no sense not to. And your best returns will come from your active business, your primary active business. But if you have excess cash, the worst thing you can do is have it sit in a bank account. You just need to get it straight into assets. I've got 7 figures in cash, and I don't mean cash stored under my bed. I mean in a bank, and like inflation's going through the roof. It's decimating the value of that money month by month, year by year. It's getting decimated, and it's sat there earning no interest because interest rates are so low. So that money should have been in assets a long time ago, and it's not. And the more money I make, the bigger problem I've got because I can't get it into assets quick enough because there's asset bubbles everywhere and everything's overpriced. So no matter where you look, everything's overpriced. So the only thing that's not overpriced right now, as far as investment goes, is investing in your own business. So yeah, so just yesterday we just said, you know what, we'll just make some more software. So we've actually decided we're going to do a new software project because obviously by reinvesting it in the business, you bring down your corporation tax bill. You don't have an income tax bill if you take it out and all that stuff. You get to grow your business and all that stuff. And I like reinvesting cash into my own business because I can affect what happens with it. Whereas the stock market is out of my control to a certain extent. I could choose well, but it's out of my control. The property market's out of my control. Precious metals market's out of my control. It's like the crypto market's out of my control. So ultimately, if you've got excess cash, reinvest it. If you've got excess cash over and above what your business needs, time to put it into passive investments and do it nice and young. You should be investing now, Hayden. I assume you are. I mean, you should build up whatever you need for your business, but as soon as you're chucking off some excess cash, investment.
Yeah. At the moment, I'm just saving for my own mortgage. Just so I've got a base. It won't be anything lavish. Just a nice little flat, and then I'm gonna just obviously. But I'm investing into new businesses at the moment and stuff. So
most people would say that's a terrible use of your cash, don't they? But I've done it too.
Like, I just want to know I've got my tiny little, nothing lavish, just a nice little place that I've got. You know,
people don't put any value on being able to sleep well at night, and like the fact that when for example, if you're just renting, that landlord can throw you out your house with a couple of months' notice at any time.
Yeah.
And that can be stressful. You know, the demand for rental property is so high, you can't just walk and go, I'd like that house, please.
Yeah.
No, you've got 10 other people wanting that house too.
Yeah,
so just, I think it's worth owning a property. It's a terrible investment. Property is a terrible investment if you're going to live in it. But it's a great investment for something that gives you peace of mind and having that base. So I do agree it's probably a good thing to do for peace of mind. But it's terrible business investment, but you know that.
Yeah, of course. What do you wish you knew back when you started that you know now? So do you think there was part of you that was quite, I suppose we all are at the start, quite naive to start with about certain topics?
Yeah.
Like, what do you wish you knew back then that you didn't know?
Probably a whole bunch of stuff. But if I was to just share one thing that one of the lessons I've learned is don't try and do everything yourself. Like I'm in a real dilemma because, and this is going to sound big-headed and egomaniac, but I'm just sharing. I'm not trying to be, but
it's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah, the stuff that I'm good at, I struggle to find anybody as good as me at. And if I do, they're doing it for themselves and or like they're too expensive or not available and stuff. So like I've almost golden handcuffed myself to the business because I can't find the level of quality of kind of in certain tasks, not everything. Like some stuff people do way better than me, but I would say, don't be scared to build a team. Don't be scared to partner up with people. Don't think of it like a one-man band thing. One-man band or one-woman band or one whatever band will get you to 6 figures. It will. You can earn 6 figures with your eyes closed online on your own very easily. I mean, I say very easily, but you can. It's easy. But getting to multiple 6 figures, you can probably do quite easily on your own. But getting beyond that is a team-based thing. And getting to that can oftentimes be easier. So if you've not got everything, if you've not got the whole skill set or everything you need to get you to a certain position, partner up with somebody that does. You know, so that's one of the lessons I learned. I did everything on my own, and now I prefer to do stuff with other people, and I'm happy to share the spoils of war. You know, I'd rather make less personally, but share the workload and be able to lean on other people's kind of abilities. Because like I just said, I made myself sound like I'm the best at everything I do. I'm not, but some stuff I really suck at. But like, if you partner up with somebody that's good at it, you've got the full jigsaw, as I say. So that's one of the things I would do.
Do you think part of that came from all that time you were working by yourself and you felt lonely?
I don't know. No, probably not. Probably not, because I fell into my partnership. I remember at one period of my life, I was so willing to have a partner, I would have took anybody. Like, we're not going back a whole long time either. Like last, I don't know, 5-6 years, I was in this mind space whereby a homeless person could have come up to me and said, Matt, do you want to partner up with me on this business idea? And I've been like, yeah. And then I quickly came through the other side of that when I realized I couldn't really get anybody to partner up with me. It's like nobody was interested or something, or I weren't looking in the right place. So I didn't try hard enough. I don't know. So I just thought to myself, you know what, screw it. I don't need a partner. I've never had one before. I don't need one now. I'll just do my thing. And it's the moment whereby I kind of stopped looking for a partner when all these partners popped up out of nowhere, kind of thing. Starting off with Karen.
When you stop looking, it appears.
I think it's like that with women, Hayden. I know you're probably still single and on the market, are you?
Well, yeah, but I'm working on my own in my home all the time. So that's not
exactly, yeah. But it is. I've always found like that, no buses and then 2 buses come along at once.
Yeah. I recently have tried doing that myself as well. Yeah, just like not trying to, you know, I'm not desperate for a partner, but obviously it'd be nice. But now I've just stopped looking, just focus on myself. And they're definitely. I think
when you genuinely stop looking, that's when they show the face. But you're still in the back of your mind, right? I'm gonna pretend I'm not looking to myself. And then they'll go.
That never works.
I don't think it works like that. It's when you actually go. It's when you actually go. You know what? Screw it. I don't need anybody else. I'm all right. I just do my thing. And then, there's your partner.
Yeah, getting there.
Yeah.
Cool. What's the biggest? So you said that you learned obviously them lessons, at the start. What's that you would have done differently? What's the biggest lesson you've learned so far in your life or business? Like the biggest breakthrough you've ever had that you couldn't sort of believe you didn't know earlier, or something like that.
It's like when my little girl says, "What's your favorite color?" Like I could have told her when I was her age, but when you get older, there's no biggest anything. It's like there's not. I mean, I've got massive.
Sounds like the breakthrough that you're talking about.
I got 20 years in the business, working for myself, building businesses. I got 20 years in the game. So you don't learn one big lesson. You learn like 100 lessons a year, and you do it for 20 years. So honestly, I got so many. But one of the biggest lessons, is that what you asked, what the biggest lesson was?
Yeah. So what's like the biggest lesson that you've
learned?
learned?
One of the biggest lessons I learned was, and you're going to get haters when you start making moves, especially if you're on social media, because it can be quite toxic out there.
I've had to block quite a few people,
Yeah. You're going to get haters if you're making moves. I see social media influencers that have been influenced. I keep doing that. I need to stop. I see social media influencers that have been not doing social media for like 3 years, and they're like, "I've got no haters." Well, then you've not done very well. Like as soon as you start making moves on social media, or in business to a certain extent, as soon as you're visible and out there and people see you doing well, you're going to get haters. Now, one of the biggest things I learned was people will tell you, just ignore the haters, right? And one of the biggest mistakes in business I made was ignoring a hater. And there's a fine distinction between it, right? Now, most haters you can ignore. The odd idiot on your YouTube comments going, "Ooh, I think you're rubbish." Yeah. Ignore them. Ignore them. Like it's no biggie. You get your persistent haters that are like almost like online bullies. Yeah. You could probably ignore those as well to a certain extent, or block them or whatever. You can do whatever you want. If they're assholes, just get rid of them. But the biggest mistake you'll make is if that person that's giving you the hate has got influence. So if they are an influencer themselves, and there is a saying that you never get people slagging you off that are doing better than you, and it's so true. It's always you're here, they're here, and they're trying to pull you down to their level kind of thing. It's never they're here, you're here, and they're going to bash you. It doesn't happen like that. Yeah. So if you're getting hate from them, you're probably doing quite well. They're probably quite jealous or envious or whatever. The fact that they're trying to force their selves into your world and affect who you are and how you feel, like they're jealous or envious or something. They want to be you, or they want to do what you do, but they've not got the balls to do it or whatever. So the biggest mistake I made is ignoring them when they've got influence. So if they have influence and they're trying to take you down because they're trying to sell a competing product, or they see you as direct competition or whatever, you've got to choose your battles. But sometimes you'll have to have the battle. Like sometimes you can't ignore everyone. It's amateur advice to be told to ignore everyone. Sometimes you've got to have a battle every now and again. And the biggest mistake I made was listening to people around me that said, ignore this person. Like you don't ignore them. And I'm talking about in the nightclub days. I'm not talking about in the online business world, but in the nightclub days, I ignored somebody that set up a competing nightclub, and then he just on social media just bashed me every day, lies, just talking lies, genuine lies. I could have sued him for defamation, all kinds of stuff. Don't think he had any money to sue for, but I could have sued him for defamation. It was just pure lies, but I let him get away with it. And that's a big mistake. So most haters, ignore them. But if they've got influence or an audience, you've sometimes got to take them on. That's one of the biggest lessons. And I know that probably you might even think like, what was that random?
No, I get it. Yeah.
But that can only be learned through making big mistakes myself and passing that wisdom on. That is the wisdom I would give somebody like you. Ignore most of it. But if somebody with influence takes you on, you've got to take them down. Like Drake, for example, a rapper. Like if some nobody street rapper makes a diss track about a big rapper, they're going to ignore it. But if a big rapper that's not quite on your level, like I don't know if it was Meek Mill, sorry going in the rap game, but Meek Mill was, I think maybe it was Meek Mill or someone made some rap diss about Drake. Drake had to take that on.
You have to take it on, yeah.
You got to take it. It's like that. So if they've got influence, if they're in your space and they've got influence and an audience and people are listening, you know, they're probably trying to take you down with that diss. So you got to address it. Well, that might be suing them. That might be putting them out of business in some way. You know, financially crushing them. It might be calling them out and you know, defending yourself publicly, very logically. You know, you'll have to choose your own levels of aggression based on who you are. But yeah, don't just ignore it when they've got influence or an audience.
Interesting. I mean, I've blocked people in the past just because they're just not bringing anything to me. You know, they're just sucking my energy each day, and I just like, you know, whether that's on Facebook or wherever, tiny little comments. They're not really hating. They're just sort of like, every time I look at it, it just sucks away at me. So I'm like, right, I've just got to get rid of it. It's nothing, you know, personal. It's just
there's a lot of vampires out there, but sometimes blocking people really enrages them and fires them up. And if they're the psycho type, then they make destroying you their life's mission. And I feel sorry for them when they feel like that, but some of them do. So there is a downside to blocking them. I think the key is block them nice and early. Don't let them feel like they've built a relationship with you first. If they do, then, you know, maybe managing the relationship's better than blocking them. And I've blocked a few people that, in hindsight, I wish I wouldn't have blocked. I regret it, because I'm sure, like, with a bit more understanding on both sides, we could actually get on all right. And you know, there's a couple of people I wish I hadn't have blocked that I blocked, and maybe it was not unfair, but if I could do it again, I would not block them. You know, but water under the bridge, you got to do these things sometimes to learn it. But block them nice and early if you're gonna. So if they start swearing at you and mouthing off, oh, you're a blah 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 blah, just block. Done nice and early before any relationships formed.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So what's your just sort of last sort of question here? Then we sort of wrap it up. So, what's your future plans? What's the future got involved for Mr. Webley?
So, future plans are continue to build a passive income portfolio, focusing around property, and build more software. So, if anybody, I mean, we probably should have said this in the earlier stages of this video, because a lot of people would be like, "Who is this guy?" But like I'm co-creator of BuyBot Pro and Profit Protector Pro, and a whole bunch of other software that we're working on, Sunfully and all that stuff. But I see the future for us as creating more software in other markets, and I think we're quite good at making software. I think we're actually quite good at it, and I think we can take on larger markets that have got bigger things. So it's like the software we do right now is like for online arbitrages and stuff, and that's cool. But it's a small market. You're capped in growth by the size of the market. You know, if more OAs come in, you know, the market's bigger, but then people leave, and that's just the nature of it. But if you look at other software, something like, say, ClickFunnels, for example, their market is huge. It's anybody selling anything online. Or Kajabi, which has been recently valued at $2 billion, they've floated some equity and they've got a $2 billion valuation or something like that. But like they're helping people sell courses. So it's course software. Market's huge because you've got fitness people, you've got relationship people, you've got make money people, marketing. You've got a massive market there that could use their platform. So we're very sub niche, micro niched down in the OA space, and that's cool. And we do a great job of it. But I just think, what if we put all our time and effort and money that we put into that into a bigger market with more going on? Where can we take it? And I think the answer is probably to the moon, because I think I see a lot of software out there. There's one piece of software, I've used it to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe more, multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars, this piece of software. And well, we could do it better. I know how I could make that software better than they've made it. So why aren't we? That software is so valuable to me as a client of theirs. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars from it. So if we can make some software that makes people hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's a larger market, then do you know what I mean? We're helping more people at a higher level. So hopefully our business will grow, accordingly, I guess.
That's fascinating. So you're going to tap into some niches other than Amazon or?
Oh, yeah. We're already building a couple of pieces of software are already underway that are outside of the OA niche. But yeah. But I think in immediate term, build up my passive income portfolio, and build some more exciting software projects and continue to develop what we're doing as well. Like, we're innovating, like Profit Protector Pro. It's got an app. It's the first reprice ever in the history. Even though reprice has been around over a decade, nobody's created a mobile app. Well, we have. We just created it. Chrome extension. We're the first repricer that I'm aware of in the world to have a Chrome extension. Yeah. So it's like we're innovating and we're pushing the boundaries, but we're doing it within a small market. Let's go innovate and push the boundaries in a bigger market and see what happens.
More cap potential, yeah.
Maybe. You know what? Maybe we'll burn 100 grand, 200 grand building some software and it goes nowhere, but we won't know till we try.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. We're looking to reinvest into software projects and other business projects, and build my property portfolio / income streams. So that's my immediate term goals, really.
Fascinating. Matt, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it as well.
I hope I've not talked too much, Hayden.
No, mate. It's been brilliant. Loved it. I'm sure everyone else has as well. So thanks for watching, everyone. Where can everyone find you, Matt, by the way, if someone wants to sort of get in touch? You don't really do too much social media, do you? But
I don't do no social media really much anymore. But you can find me hanging around in the Secret Wealth Project Facebook group occasionally in there. It's for Amazon sellers. You can find me in the Profit Protector Pro Facebook group, which is one of our softwares, and the BuyBot Pro Facebook group, which is another one of the softwares. And the odd video on YouTube on Secret Wealth Project.
Yeah.
YouTube, you might find me there. But I don't do much social media anymore. I'm kind of happy about that.
Yeah, looks quite blissful. You're going to go and do some meditating in your garden.
I might meditate, do a bit of levitate. I might even levitate. I might levitate around up there.
Awesome. Make sure you like the video, everyone, if you've watched, please, because obviously it just helps push it up and give everyone else value as well. So thanks for coming on, Matt, and I will see you all in the next video.
Cheers, Hayden, for inviting me. I've enjoyed it, mate. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. See you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.